What's up, Internet? Jay here with Nerd Rage Against the Machine, and again, we're going to be doing another live stream today of this game, Star Trek Adventure Gaming in the Final Frontier by Heritage Models. And as a special treat tonight, serving as our first officer will be the actual writer and designer of the game, Michael J. Scott. So what I'm going to do is, as usual, I'm going to bring each player on, and they're going to give a chance to kind of explain their characters. We're going to talk a little bit, and then we'll get into the adventure tonight, which is Wings of the Ancients. So let's start with my own personal nemesis, a guy who's running the game on the opposite weeks that I'm not running the stream, one Mr. Sean Fitzpatrick. How's it going, Sean? I can't hear a word you're saying, sir.
I was muted. Hey, everybody. Good evening, good day, good morning. Wherever you may be watching from.
Exactly. Did you want to go ahead and explain your character a little bit? Kind of get people in?
Yeah. For those of you who saw our first go at this, I'll still be playing Torin Pon, Lieutenant Torin Pon. I am a Tellarite, and I wear a red shirt. I'm from a prominent family on Tellar Prime. My father died during the war against the Romulans in the early days of the Federation. I was raised by my uncle Zorgu. I am part of a legacy of soldiers and officers on Tellar, with my uncle prompting me to join the Federation. I am gruff, argumentative, and quick to take a contrary position in an argument, attributes that are stereotypical of Tellarites. I am a soldier who takes my duty seriously, believing that vigilance is the hallmark of my duty.
Very cool. And joining Torin Pon tonight will be his first officer, Commander Carson, who will be played by, again, the writer and designer of this game. Let's welcome Mr. Michael J. Scott to the stream. Welcome, Michael.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I hope you'll be a little patient with me, Jamie. It's only been decades since I've played this game.
That's okay. My thoughts on the matter is, if anyone's going to correct me on the rules...
I got a copy right here, but it's all heavily annotated.
Same for same. Well, mine's not that annotated, but same for same. I've got my book here. At least we're ready in that respect.
Well, I'd like to commend you on providing this rules reference sheet. That's really excellent, Jamie.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Would you like to explain to the audience who you'll be playing tonight?
I'm playing Commander Matthew Carson. He was a child of the Icarus Trading Group, born and raised in space. So he's not really comfortable with any particular human culture, but he's met a lot of other alien cultures in space, including the Tellars, the Tellarites, and the Andorians, and the Vulcans. And he finds himself very comfortable aboard a starship, on the deck of a starship up on the bridge, and operating in space. He excelled in engineering and opted to take the command track, so he gets to wear the yellow shirt, or gold shirt, if you will. And he understands the administration activities of an XO. He knows that the XO is the captain's tap into the crew and helping the ship maintain a happy state. So I think Carson, I forgot. I also say that the captain usually picks Carson to lead his away teams instead of going down like certain other captains I can think of. And
Kirk's Law is a thing.
Well, some captains are more hands-on than others. And this may make Carson reluctant to accept captain's stripes eventually. Because he likes being on the front of the spear. He likes being in the action.
Fair enough. Awesome. And I see Sean's finally wearing a red shirt tonight, which is good.
I'm sorry, say again?
I said, and Sean's finally wearing a red shirt tonight, which is good, since he's security and all. So I'm going to introduce our next player, who is the newest of us as a group in general, Mr. Carter Banks. Welcome to the stream, Carter.
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be back. Yes, relatively new to the game. My second live stream, probably sixth RPG night overall. So very happy to be here. I am playing Lieutenant Var, the Andorian helmsman of the Wellington here. Var, I like to think of myself as Torin's personal nemesis.
He drives like a maniac.
I just really like to needle him a little bit. Always been a bit of a maverick. Took to the martial ways, the fighting and hunting on Andor very, very early. Always liked to drive a little too fast, pretty much anything he could get his hands on. And that's kind of what drew the captain to recruiting me to be the Wellington's helmsman. And I'm looking forward to flying way too fast tonight, too.
Fair enough.
Lieutenant Var.
Yes, sir.
You are you known to carry your traditional Andorian blade with you when you beam down?
At all times.
Just curious.
I took care of some parasite bugs during our last mission with it.
Well, I trust an Andorian's discipline for him to maintain control of his weapon at all times.
Always.
And the judgment of when and when not to use it.
Thank you, Commander.
Now, a transwarp conduit has finally brought our science officer on board. He didn't have a chance for a mic test thanks to some earlier issues, but let's welcome Mr. Greg Lewis into the stream. Greg, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Doing good.
Good. Glad to hear you. Would you like to explain your character?
Yeah, sure. I am the science officer of the Wellington. I am a Vulcan, and I was part of the Science Academy. I actually kind of took what Spock's position would have been had he not decided, had he decided to actually go to the Science Academy as opposed to going directly into service on the Enterprise. And that's pretty much, kind of like my immediate background.
Fair enough. So now everyone's had a chance to meet the crew. And I think they've had a little chance to socialize at least. So we will move on with the Wings of the Ancients, which this is a one-shot adventure. Again, using the Star Trek Adventure Gaming in the Final Frontier by Horizon Models, circa 1978. So, to start this off, Captain's Log, Stardate 5928.5, Captain Daniel Kellogg reporting. The USS Wellington has spotted an ancient space hulk drifting slowly toward the neutral zone. Believed to be a craft of the Atraxi, a species believed to have visited Vulcan in the era before Surak. We are very close to the derelict ship, and I have noticed what I can only describe as excitement from our science officer Sola, who seems quite keen to study the alien craft. So at this point, the crew is more or less on the bridge, in your standard positions, with the captain in the chair. The Atraxi vessel, and I'm going to really quick do this just because I have set this up. Turn this around. Hopefully you guys can see the Wellington and the Atraxi vessel in close proximity there. But it has come into visual range. Oops, I need to now adjust my camera yet again. One of these days I'm going to get the virtual camera set up, I swear. But anyway, in the meantime, the ship has now hit visual range, and I'll let the crew talk amongst themselves about what their plans are at this point.
Commander Carson turns to the science station and says, Mr. Sullick, can you give me an approximate ETA for that derelict vessel to reach the neutral zone?
I'm quite certain I should be able to, Captain.
All right.
Commander,
Okay.
sorry, Commander.
Let's do a mentality check. This is, again, just kind of get everyone reused to those rules. It's a 3d6. Roll under your mentality. You're going to get a -2 to the dice roll or a +2 bonus, however you want to look at it, due to having the ship sensors on board.
Okay. Let's see. So I rolled a 7. I wanted to go under, or I want to try to go under, right? Under. Okay. 7. So I guess the bonus would be 5. Or
Yep.
however you want to look at it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And as long as your mentality isn't 5, which I would be surprised if it is, it's a Vulcan.
True.
It appears that the Atraxi vessel is about 45 minutes away at current speed and drift.
Okay.
Var's taking it easy. Doesn't have his foot on the gas.
Well, that's for the Atraxi ship to reach the neutral zone.
Oh, okay. Not for
I
us
don't
to
know.
reach
You don't
them.
know
He
how
can
fast
be
we're
in
going.
circles around the ship.
I look at Lieutenant Var and I'm like, why is it always around the neutral zone? Why can't it be closer to home?
Spoken like a true Tellarite, Fitzy.
Just playing my part.
Let's see.
At this time, am I able to see much detail of the Atraxi vessel at this time? Or am I
Yeah, the Atraxi vessel itself is pretty old looking. You can tell that there's degraded metal on the hull of the ship. Not 100% sure on the superstructure and how well it would, say, take a tractor beam. As an example. Now, again, there may be internal structures that are more sturdy, but it doesn't look. This ship is ancient. To give you an idea, like I said, the Atraxi. The only known examples of Atraxi information we have was that they visited Vulcan way back in the day. Back in a time when Surak was still a, not really a thing. Yeah, so Vulcans were still run by emotion and tribalism. So this is like, say, finding Atlantis. Is this something that's real? We don't know.
Commander, something I must say that I've made of note is observing the vessel. It appears much like from the ancient Vulcan texts of a ship that came to Vulcan before Surak and the age of logic, and there was a race that actually led the Vulcans toward their way of logic and enlightenment. And based off the information from the Vulcan text, this vessel that we're looking at seems very similar, almost I would say exact, to the vessel of those histories.
That's very interesting, Mr. Sullick. Is there a chance of us getting any kind of a life form reading at this range?
Yeah, you can try a life form reading. Again, it would be a mentality check, and I'm going to give you the same bonus of -2.
And Jamie, I'd also like to check sensors for any other vessels in the area.
Go ahead and make a standard mentality check for that.
Okay. So my mentality check, I rolled a 7 with a bonus.
Okay.
Mentality is 15.
The composition of the vehicle makes it such that life signs are almost impossible to read. It is emanating a magnetic signature, which also is going to make beaming a real treat. You may have to take a shuttle over there. I'm
Shuttle?
sure Var would love that.
Shut
As far as, however, the one thing is that you are getting is readings of power. There is definitely power the ship is powered, and it appears to be creating an environment that is equivalent to an M-class planet.
GM,
Yes.
did I understand that Captain Kellogg is on the bridge?
He is indeed.
Okay. I turn to the captain and I go, "Sir, if there's still power aboard that vessel, and if it's this close to the neutral zone, it behooves us to go to warp and close in as rapidly as possible and prepare an away team."
All right, I agree. I agree. Get your away team together. Shuttle Bay 2.
And Jamie, with I on my mentality check for checking for additional vessels,
I hadn't
12
tried.
out of 12. Yep. Okay.
You don't see any vessels, but there are some very suspicious sensor blips. Knowing that these are, that you are this close to Romulan space, this could be an anomaly. This could be a Turk, or this could be a cloaked ship. It's hard to tell.
It's a trap.
Captain Kellogg, I recommend that we take the ship to yellow alert. It'll make our crew ready for anything.
And I'll do you one better than that. Computer, red alert.
Very good, Captain.
All hands at battle stations.
All right. The Wellington is going to place itself as close to the vessel as can be. However, we're going to need to get a shuttle over there. I'm assuming you guys are running down to
As close as we can get safely, VAR.
Hold on to your
Var's
butts.
no longer on the helm position. You can talk to Lieutenant Rickson, who is the current helmsman. After all, Var is going to be taking over the shuttle.
Who's ready to have
All
some
right.
fun?
We don't have our crack engineer that would probably, if it was Scotty, probably beam us right through there.
Right.
Exactly.
I wouldn't want to take that chance. There's just too many unknowns.
We're going to save the transporters for emergency use only. I think the environment's going to be far too difficult for a good transporter lock.
Hi, Commander.
I'm sure the science officer would agree with me.
That is the logical choice. I'm trying to do the eyebrow raise. They're not doing very well.
Now, the
Well, I make
shuttle
sure I have my phaser and my communicator, and I make my way to Shuttle Bay 2, or Shuttle Bay,
and the
whichever
is
shuttle bay we're going to.
Appropriate vac suits just in case.
Got it.
Mr.
Just
Solik,
Yes.
Lieutenant Var, Mr. McFitzface. I'm sorry, that's what it says.
I know. I'll change that.
Okay.
Okay.
Please report to the shuttle bay and pick up an issue Phaser 2. And I'm sure that Mr. Solik will be bringing along his trusty tricorder.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Feel up to a little hot flying, Lieutenant Var?
Aye, Commander.
All right. Let's report to the shuttle bay.
All right. So, I believe we're now going to be dealing with a piloting check from Mr. Var.
All right. And
This will be a
is
straight
that
up dexterity check.
dexterity?
Yep.
All right.
I'm glad
Rolled
these
an
things
8
have inertial
out of
dampeners.
16.
I'm sorry, what was
Yes.
that, Var?
I rolled an 8 out of 16. Looks like we're good.
Awesome. So yeah, Var is able to pull the ship around and find an available access port. The shuttle bays are all seem to be closed off. Like every time you cut close to one, doors don't open. But you have found an access port where you can connect an umbilical connection to the ship.
Okay. Which shuttlecraft has the flight deck prepared for us?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to say the Austerlitz.
Say again.
Austerlitz?
Austerlitz?
Yep.
Like the Napoleonic battle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just a standard Type 7 shuttlecraft or a Type C?
Standard Type 7.
Okay. Cheese box.
Pretty much.
I like the Type C's. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't afford the miniature.
Well, but if you would like sometime we can talk. I do 3D print.
Okay. I'm sorry. I have a tendency to ramble, guys, and don't let me do that because we'll be off on a tangent. We'll never get anything done.
I'm not here to get anything done. I'm here to have fun and just kick back and relax.
Oh,
So you're
my
fine,
God.
Mike.
Have fun. What kind of gamer are you?
I know. I don't know how. Who do you think you are, Sean?
I have a ton of spaceship models.
Nice.
And I've lately fallen in love with the Discovery version of the Constitution class. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but I love it. It's beautiful.
Not at all.
And those of you in the chat or watching live, if you have complaints, please email Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
Okay, just to be sure that I've got everybody correctly, I've got Solik as science officer, Var, you're helmsman, and you got.
And he's got the knife.
And I got my knife and a phaser.
And Lieutenant Pond.
I'm your security officer.
Oh, maybe I should give you the rifle.
I'm invincible in my red shirt.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. Do we have any other officers with us as cannon fodder? I mean, as extra crew?
no, this is what you brought.
Okay. Well, we board the Austerlitz, and the doors, and the little thing pops down. We get aboard the Austerlitz, and Lieutenant Var contact flight control and ask permission for us to leave the ship.
This is Lieutenant Var. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, this is Lieutenant Var aboard the Austerlitz, requesting permission to disembark, please.
Permission granted.
Aye, smooth sailing.
Open the Wellies doors.
The rear shuttle bay slides open, and out goes the Austerlitz.
Please make sure you're strapped in. Keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times.
Put your trays in the upright position.
And make sure
All
your
right.
phones are on, or make sure your communicators are on airplane mode.
Yep, I go ahead and strap in, and then strap in again.
We know what happened during our Travelers game last week.
Yeah. At least this time Jamie's not flying this.
Oh, Type 7s have got that really nice console with the weird controls and the display and everything. You can lower and raise the covers on the main ports. Lovely ship.
Oh yeah.
Not much of a restroom though.
Well, we can just pull over.
In Star Trek fashion, you have no joystick or anything. You have to punch a whole bunch of buttons to turn.
Well,
Frantically mashed buttons.
no, this was like 1978, so I think you have to actually insert punch cards.
Oh, okay.
in order to fly the thing.
You have the quote tapes unquote, the little squares.
Yes.
Yeah, the computer room is the size of a small office building.
I had the pleasure to attend the Red Hour Festival in San Francisco, one of the very first Star Trek conventions.
Nice.
Held at a high school. T'Pring was there, Arlene Martell, and James Doohan was there.
Nice.
I'm jealous already.
You must come in. Okay. And somebody asked Scotty how they handled the toilets on the ship, and he did his classical thing about very careful aim with a phaser. But it was a great convention. This is back before we had all of the celebrity foo-for-all. It was very much interactive.
Very
Okay.
cool.
What does the Attrax ship look like?
It's large green, very slender ship.
Jamie, you've got a model of it on the table there. Can you maybe put that in
please
front of
do.
the camera?
Yeah, let's see it.
Yeah, one sec.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Yeah.
As I stated
All
earlier,
right.
Michael, I do 3D print quite a bit.
Well, I have access to a filament printer here. Oh, love it. Cerritos to go with your
You bet.
uniform.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've got almost all the Enterprises, except for that godforsaken F thing.
Fair.
And and a whole slew of attack wing ships. So, trays and trays of them.
Oh, I feel you, sir. I'm in the same boat with that stuff. I've got a runabout, a couple of a Klingon and Romulan shuttle, as well as TNG era and classic era shuttles, all in 32 millimeter scale, so that if I ever get a chance to run it in miniature, I'm ready to go.
As we approach the ship, the derelict ship, is it tumbling or is it just steadily drifting?
It is steadily drifting. It is not tumbling. It seems to be almost on a course.
Or the neutral zone?
Correct.
Are we close to any of the outposts, or are they light years away?
They're light years away.
Okay. So we don't have any immediate assistance to us. We're it.
Pretty much.
Okay. Austerlitz to the Wellington.
Wellington here.
Captain Kellogg, we're approaching the derelict ship. I am trusting that the Welly will keep her sensors scanning, because I feel that we are uncomfortably close to the neutral zone.
Not only that, but we've got torpedoes on standby.
Excellent, sir. Here's hoping we don't have to use them.
Agreed.
Austerlitz out. We'll report back in 15-minute intervals.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Now,
Lieutenant Bart, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Someone started to say something.
I was just going to say that, as I stated earlier, every approach that VAR makes toward a shuttle bay or entry point to the ship does seem to not activate anything. It will require the ship to connect to basically an exhaust port and then umbilical the shuttle to it.
Okay, Lieutenant Var, take us around the ship. Let's see if we can find an airlock or a hatch.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I also, as we fly around this thing, I'm looking for weapon scoring or any signs of distress, physical signs of
Keep
distress.
an eye out for signs of weapon damage, disruptor scoring, that sort of thing.
Yep.
Sean, go ahead and Tor and Pond, go ahead and make me a mentality check. -2. VAR, make me a dexterity check.
Dexterity check. All right.
Correct.
11 out of 12.
All right.
13 out of 16.
13 out of 16. Perfect. So we'll start with what you find, Torin. You find there is scoring, but nothing that specifically calls out battle. This could be, debris that hit the ship.
Fender bender on the on-ramp.
Yeah, pretty much. It's traded paint a few times. The ship gets old, especially as long as it's probably out here. It's not surprising that it looks a little bit banged up. It's what you expect. As for VAR, you were able to find an access port that is close enough to a Federation standard that you could connect to. It's not perfect. It's going to require some jury rigging to make it work. But you can get the shuttle close enough and then shoot out an umbilical connection.
All right. Commander, access port located. Preparing to deploy umbilical connection.
Excellent, Mr. Var. Let's get that accomplished.
Okay.
Mr. Solik, do you detect any signs of standard atmosphere or any pressure at all on the ship?
Checking now, Commander.
Go ahead and make me a mentality -2.
Okay. Yeah, made it. I rolled 11 under 15.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there does seem to be, like I said, a rudimentary Class M environment being generated by the ship. It's probably colder than you might expect. It looks like it's hitting that baseline of what Class M is. It's not like, perfect 72 degrees and sunny in there.
Finally, a cold environment after last time we did this.
Unlike last time, it's a cold environment, yes.
However, it probably smells of moldy cheese.
Gentlemen, what do you think of us wearing environmental suits at any rate? Should we wear environmental suits during our...
It would be
I think regulation would require
Seems
that
prudent.
most walking into an unknown environment.
right.
Yes, we have no idea what's left on board that ship.
We know there's power, but we can't speak to Atmo.
How many minutes do we have left before reaching the neutral zone?
You have about 38.
Okay. Here's hoping we can find some controls that still operate on the ship. All right. Let's go ahead and extend that that connector. Lieutenant Pond, give me a hand here, please.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
we're going to attempt to extend the connector across and see if it'll grip onto the surface of the derelict. I'm going to guess that would be a dexterity. But it's really up to the GM.
I'm sorry, I missed that part.
What type of roll do we, if we need to make a roll at all, to extend the flexible docking collar?
Actually, yeah, you will need to make a. It's going to be a mentality check, I believe.
All right. By the way, guys, I'm very aware that apps exist to roll dice. I prefer the real thing.
As do we.
I have a mentality of 15, and I rolled a 10. And Con did the same. Excellent.
10 and 12.
All
It
right.
looks like the docking collar is connected. Now the next part comes into play. The actual door is stuck. You will probably need to actually breach it.
Please ignore the domestic feline.
Yeah, I just figured we had another crew member. We have a stowaway, Commander.
It's not a Kazin, but it's not a Cation either. Bob is our mascot with our gaming group. And he always thinks when I'm talking to my computer that obviously he should be here.
Of course.
Of course.
Understandable.
But at any rate, are we going to have to cut through? Or do you think the hatch might open? Let's go ahead and find out.
All right.
Lieutenant Pond, cover me. I got to be a little bit Riker, a little bit,
No, I'm totally with it, man.
Half the fun of this game, right?
And
Yeah.
need I say all of our phasers should be on stun, gentlemen?
Of course.
All right. And then I guess I need...
We're still on this side of the neutral zone.
Are you going to try to force the panel open, or are you going to just go for the face?
Well, I'm going to look for some manual control first.
There does seem to be one, but it looks like it has been smashed beyond all recognition.
Okay.
Can we our way through the door?
Go ahead and make me a strength check plus 6.
Jesus.
I didn't say it was going to be easy.
Oh wait, that's 5, 8, 14 out of
And what's your
13.
strength? Out of 13? Oh!
So I feel like give a little bit, but I just can't get it. It's like there's a difference in air pressure, and yeah.
Can we help him?
If this is strength I'm rolling against, I rolled a 5 out of 13.
Plus 6 would be 11.
So
I make it.
Carson.
The door
Yeah.
gives way slightly and slides aside.
Yep,
Yeah.
I loosened it up for you.
Okay, is there a gust of atmosphere out of the ship, or is it the other way?
there actually is a gust of atmosphere.
But we're wearing environmental suits, so we're not going to smell it.
Right. I was about to say, I was about to give you a description of the smell, but the environmental suits would stop that from being an issue. There
It
is
smells like a 1978 Plymouth Fury.
more like a 76, but you're close.
Okay.
Vintage.
It's got that old car smell.
Okay,
The
I
lighting
look.
in here is about 60% of what you'd expect from a ship like this. So it's dim, but not.
Okay.
And you can see like particulate matter, dust, and stuff through the air. Sorry, go ahead.
I rigged my shoulder lamps so that they're shining into the opening.
All right.
Can I see anything? Drifting debris, a body?
No drifting debris, no bodies.
Gravity.
Gravity does appear to be 1.0 standard Earth.
Should we have
Fascinating.
select check for life signs now that we're aboard?
Gravity plates are still functional?
The gravity plates are still functional.
Yeah,
That is incredible.
it's still got power.
We'll take out the tricorder to check for life forms.
Okay,
Please.
mentality minus
Mr. Solik, please join us.
Mm-hmm.
mentality minus 4, Greg.
Okay.
Hey VAR, don't forget where we parked.
Don't worry, I'm gonna click the button. No.
It's got one of those little balls on radio antenna.
There's not enough of us to leave anybody behind. Just secure the ship against non-identified entry.
Can do, sir.
Yeah, made it by
Lock the
3.
doors behind me.
Yes, sir.
Made it by 3 for the.
Made it by 3 select?
Yeah, correct.
Yes, there is definitely life.
It's life, sir, but none of us we know it. No. Had to say that one. Nope, we do. Yeah. I don't. Can I pick up as far as if it seems humanoid? I assume, and
The ship actually seems to have several segments with life in it.
Okay.
This is a pretty big ship. This is,
got it.
probably closer to an Excelsior class ship in size.
Mm-hmm.
So it dwarfs us.
Yes. Not terribly, but still enough to make you take pause.
Okay, it's been about enough time. USS Wellington, this is the Austerlitz. Commander Carson calling.
Here we go.
Kellogg here.
Sir, we are now boarding the derelict ship. It has some atmosphere on board at a very low temperature, barely Class M. It has gravity. It has some power. We detect life forms within the ship. We are proceeding with caution to make contact.
Do what you can. Quick update out here. We are starting to see Romulan movement over the neutral zone.
That's not good. If they cross the neutral zone, they'll be as in violation of it as we would be if we crossed it.
Agreed. They haven't crossed, but they're swimming like sharks.
Yes, sir. They could be shrouded. There could be shrouded Romulan vessels nearby.
Agreed. Keep your eyes peeled and your phasers ready if needed.
Yes, sir. Austerlitz out.
All right.
What do you think so far, guys? You players.
I'm liking it.
Pretty good. Really liking it. I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of adds the tension like you have in one of the classic episodes.
Well, all we need now is some music.
Mm-hmm.
Not the fight music yet, Jamie. No fight music yet.
So we should probably try and make contact. We should probably find the bridge and possibly engineering.
I'd love to fly this thing.
God.
Mr. Solik, if this is similar to possible Vulcan vessels of the past, would the bridge be located forward of this position?
Well, I know it's a vessel that visited Vulcan. I'm not sure if it necessarily would be like Vulcan technology, but it's a possibility since it visited our civilization, many, many years ago. Is a possibility we could have been influenced by it.
Just
It's
give me the
certainly a possibility.
odds. Just give me the odds.
Oh,
33.33%. Repeating, of course.
and now if you get the Space Kings draft book app, and you can place with that.
Okay.
Oh,
All right, gentlemen, let's be about it. And
all right.
Carson leads the way deeper into the vessel, followed closely by Lieutenant Pond with his phaser up, and Lieutenant Solik. Where's it, Commander Solik?
Commander.
Commander.
Commander
remember,
Solik and his
Lieutenant
tricorder,
Commander. Lieutenant Commander, yep.
and Lieutenant Var with his phaser.
I got the
Keep our
sound
six-
effect on the app.
Keep our six clear, Lieutenant Var.
On it.
I'm going to ask for luck checks from all aboard.
All right. Oh, crap.
I've got my phaser.
There you go.
I did not make it.
I missed
Luck?
by 1 point.
Luck is my thing. Is there a
Var made it.
modifier?
No modifier.
14 out of
Out of?
16.
Out of 16. So Tarn made it. Carson, you did not make it. Is that correct?
Missed it by 1 point.
Okay. Var
By
made it,
that much.
and Solek missed it. Correct.
That is correct.
Well, this is good because Var, you see movement down the hall, and more than movement, you see the gleam of a metal helmet, golden metal. If you didn't know any better, that might be a Romulan.
Or Iron Man.
Or
All right.
Cyberman.
So
It's more of a red and yellow. Or
Oh,
red
okay.
gold. This is
Maybe
is
one of the
flat out-
Cybermen from Doctor Who.
all right. So I
They're
spot
silver.
a potential Romulan.
So I will give you initiative. First off, as the system declares, you are going to make a decision. Then we're going to worry about initiative.
How far is you away currently?
This would be about medium range.
Okay.
For a phaser
Okay.
2, you're talking on stun. It's going to be a 2 or better to hit, or 2 or less to hit.
2 or less to hit?
Yep, on a single dice. On a single dice.
On a single dice. Well, I'm going to then, so I can move a half movement. So I'm going to move I'm going to move closer and
And fire.
attempt to stun him.
All right. Okay. Unfortunately, Commander Carson and Solek will be out of this round because they didn't see it.
Okay.
Torin Pond, what are you going to do?
So our marching order right now, moving towards the the area we believe is to be the bridge is Carson, Pond, Solek, Var.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Get it.
unfortunately, in his eagerness to get there, I missed seeing the glimpse of that, whatever
So
it is.
I'm going to assume that I heard it rather than saw it because this Romulan you're speaking of is behind us.
Actually more to the side.
Okay.
Like
Off
left,
down a hallway.
port
Looks like.
side corridor.
So I will, with one arm, move in front of Commander Carson.
Okay.
With my other hand, I will move forward from medium to close range and
Okay.
shoot and fire on stun.
Okay. So close range with a phaser 2. Stun will be 3 or less. Var, you will have first shot.
3 or less, huh?
Yep.
Wait,
Roll 4.
My dex is 10, which would mean close would put me at 4 or less.
Wait,
Okay.
close range with a phaser 2? Because my
Phaser
dexterity
2
is
on
16. Does that
stun.
change anything?
Let's double check that.
So there's the hit probability table based on dexterity.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's your dexterity, Var?
16.
So you need a 6 or less at close range.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at the wrong chart. You are absolutely correct, Sean. I was looking at the damages.
Yeah, I was
So I
about to
rolled a
say,
4.
that's not right. I was doing the
I
same
hit him.
thing, Jamie.
That's why we have the designer here to tell us what we're doing wrong.
Sure. I'm here to rewrite the rules as we go.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
So I shot him right in the shiny helmet.
So yeah, my bad on that. You're closing at 6, or you're closing. So go ahead and roll. What did you roll, Carter?
I rolled a 4.
And you needed what?
He
6
needed
or
a
less.
6.
So you hit, obviously. Go ahead and roll me 3 dice for damage.
3 dice. That's 10.
Okay. The Romulan will fire back. A sonic disruptor blast comes flying overhead. And is aimed for you, Var.
Perfect. Perfect.
And I don't think it's dead on stun.
And Jamie, this is happening before I shoot.
That is correct.
I know
Yeah.
I should have used my Ushan.
Yeah, if you look at the initiative order, the Romulans are going to go are technically going on an 18, which is the same as Var and Solek. However,
Wait. What do you mean Romulans, plural?
Well, Romulans,
Oh,
but
crap.
more importantly, as I said, they would be going on an 18, but the old house rule I always use is heroes have the right of way. So you guys would go before the Romulan or Romulans. We'll
Okay.
figure that out in a second, won't we?
I'd like to find out if he shot me.
You do indeed get hit. Go ahead and take yourself 6 damage.
And that goes to Constitution.
That is correct.
Does the environmental suit provide any armor whatsoever? Said Scotty, who should know better.
It does indeed. Let's go ahead and give it a 2 armor, so you can go ahead and subtract 2 from the damage.
Okay. So I took 4 total damage. I'm down to 10 Constitution.
Yep. As a stray
told you
sonic
this
disruption
was a
bolt
trap.
comes blasting past you.
Ow.
A second bolt does come out of another gun and misses.
Okay.
Did I see
I'm
where
not
that
following
shot
the
came
deck. I've
from?
been hit by a disruptor.
Yes, Torin, you did.
Okay. I was already aiming at the Darth Vader looking guy. So at 10 dexterity at close range, I need a 4 or less.
Yep.
I got a 1. That's a critical.
Very good. You hit. There are
And
no
at
critical
close
hits.
range stun is 3 dice damage.
Correct.
12.
Okay, one of them is obviously down. Like, you hit him with enough force that you actually saw the shape move and hit the bulkhead and drop.
So we both shot the same guy?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's the guy you can see.
Right.
He was the only one we could see at
just
first.
making sure.
And the average Romulan soldier has about a 14 con. So,
Ouch.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ouch, indeed.
Carson's beginning to realize there may be something going on he hasn't noticed yet.
Which brings us to the next turn of events. Now, this is an all-skate. Everyone gets to go. And again, we're going to start with decision-making.
Okay.
Question. How
Yes,
far
sir.
is Romulan B from our position?
He was pretty much right on the same side as Romulan A. So
Okay, so we're still within close range.
correct.
Sorted. Okay.
Other than Carson and Solek.
Why don't we go ahead and declare in the order of dexterity just to keep things organized?
All
Order of
right.
dexterity or the order of initiative?
Order of dexterity. Because we declare first before initiative. So what are you going to do, Var?
I've decided this phaser is garbage, and I'm going to pull out my Ushan. I'm going hand to hand on the next Romulan.
Oh, dear Lord. Okay.
Now you can start playing the fight music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
Da, 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 da,
Yes.
da.
Okay.
All right,
What about? Okay. Next would be Solek, right?
Yep, Solek would be next.
I guess shoot the phaser.
Shooting phaser at
Going
medium
down
range,
like
or
a
you're going to try
corridor, or what is
close?
that? I'm trying to picture exactly what it looks like. And is this like a corridor in the ship?
yeah, I guess I'm attacking the closest Romulan. Sorry.
So, are you going to fire at same Romulan from medium range?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, then that brings us to Carson.
Okay. Is there anything that we can use for cover?
Yes, there is some cargo still. It was like cargo crates in the hallway.
Okay. I'm going to move up to half my movement and take position behind the cover,
Okay.
and I'm going to shoot at the visible Romulan,
Okay.
making a ranged attack. That's
Perfect.
still close range, I presume.
Yes, you'd be at close
And
range.
my dexterity of 11 gives me a 4 or less to hit.
Correct.
What are we rolling? Oh, I didn't think.
I rolled a 4.
Fair enough.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
A little bit.
My decision is, I beg your pardon. My decision
I
is,
love the enthusiasm.
He was
my
ready.
decision is to move to cover and take a shot at the Romulan. Now we can go to pawn.
Now, Torin Bond.
So for my declaration, I would like to roll, not walk, half my movement into close range. Roll.
I will
Oh,
give
come
you
on,
a
do the-
plus
do the,
one modifier for that.
The trick is to you go on the shoulder.
Must be easy when you're so low to the ground, Mr. Tellerite.
But I'm
Pawn,
pretty
you
sure-
dexterous hedgehog, you.
I'm pretty sure we've got Michael Scott here, and he will tell you that if you roll, you get a +2 on that attack.
Well, it's
Am I
certainly
just
evasive. It's also a standard Star Trek move that should have been
It re-
literally included in the
It
rules
is.
somewhere.
It needs to be written in. You know what? It doesn't need to be written in. It's one of those things that's just
It's
known.
implied.
It's implied, exactly.
Well, considering how many years it's been since this game was written,
Yeah.
I tend nowadays to go with the idea of role playing. The GM takes into account the role playing of his characters, of his players, and if they describe something cool, he gives them a bonus point or something.
Nice.
This particular GM does that for all of us except me.
There you go.
Actually, I did offer you a +1, but you talked over me, Sean.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jamie.
We were just having fun, Jamie.
I know
But
you
that's
were.
what I
knew.
do.
You're
But that's
being
what
a
I do.
good. You're being a good mission master.
Yep.
Thank you. Yes, I will give you a +1 for that, Sean.
All right.
I mean, a -1.
Yeah, a -1.
Okay.
Correct.
So that's my declaration.
All right. So that means VAR, you get to go first.
All right.
And,
So I
so
chose
attack,
hand to
you're gonna
hand.
be
So what am I
looking-
doing now? I forgot. Is
well,
it
that's
3
what we're
dice?
going to look at. So,
Just do the.
You said you
Captain
were gonna.
Kirk.
You pulled out your Ushan Tor.
Right.
We're gonna go.
I just meant the dice.
what are you
I'm
doing
going
tonight?
the
Yeah.
full overhand Kirk chop, holding my
Oh,
Ushan.
come on. Do the flying two-legged drop kick.
Off the top rope, man.
Yes.
Okay.
Give him the
Yeah,
bow.
where you just do the kick and drop.
So basically, what it's going to come down to is you're going to need to roll me a 6-sided die using your attack bonus and the Romulan's defense bonus. And the Romulans are pretty quick here.
True.
So you're going to be looking at the difference between the two. You're going to need to get a 4 or better to hit.
And
Well, he's got a
And my hand-to-hand
D6
bonus
plus
is 15.
15. Yeah.
So it's a D6, but it's also, so it's that 15 plus a D6 minus the Romulan's bonus,
oh, okay.
which means you're sitting at about a 4.
So I need a 4 higher,
4 or less.
4 less. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Show me something good.
So if he was a clay target, you'd be looking at like a 19 or less on a 6-sided die.
All right. So I rolled a 2.
So you hit him. All right.
Do I get
Now I
any
got to
bonus
figure
because I have
out
a 9?
damage for Ushan.
Do what?
All
Oh, look up the damage for an Ushan.
right, let's see here.
I guess you're gonna have to use a dagger or a Kleegat type device.
That's what I was kind of thinking as well.
Now have you closed with the Romulan?
Yes.
He is
Well, in that
close
case,
with the
it's 3
Romulan.
dice damage, according to the old
Right.
table.
Go ahead and give it 3 dice, man.
3 dice.
Didn't mean to jump
Okay,
you.
that is a
Didn't mean to
that's
jump
12.
you, Jamie.
Hey, I'm not here to argue with the game designer.
Well, yeah, but I'm not here to take over your game either.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
12.
Well, okay. So again, you basically lace across, and you got the ripped uniform. You know,
He's
the
got a
Lion
Slayer
Blue out
t-shirt.
there.
I'll be like the Kirk where he always rips his shirt.
Exactly. The shirtless Kirk is the Kirkiest Kirk there is. So you know.
True.
It sure is.
So that would bring us to
Wait, so is he down?
Solek, yeah.
Did I get him?
Okay.
he's hurt, but he's not dead. He's
Okay.
not down. He's still up. It's just like you did a lot.
It's-
Yeah, when I heard you were doing that, I seriously considered going somewhere else and making a sandwich.
We will discuss this later, Lieutenant Var.
Yeah, you can't set a knife to stun.
We can't negotiate with a guy who is has his guts lying on the floor either.
Disemboweled.
Seemed like the right choice.
But if I were judging you, I would say, wow, what a Romulan.
Ooh.
I mean, excuse me, Andorian. I meant Andorian.
It's all good.
No, Romulans have their own little thing.
Oh yeah.
But
So is it the Romulans?
Andorians make a whole dance move martial art thing out of Ushan Tor.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to admire the grace with which he danced forward, slid, and the Romulans going, somebody help me put
finished
my
with a-
intestines back in?
A flourishing pirouette.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Well
So,
done, Carter.
Solek,
Yes.
you want to follow that up with a phaser blast?
Yes.
What's your
it's-
What's your dex?
Dexterity is 17.
Okay, so you're looking at a 5 or better. Or 5 or less. Sorry, 5 or less on a
Oh,
6-sided die.
try to roll 5 or less on two. How many dice?
On 1 dice.
Oh,
No.
1 dice. Okay. Let's see. Roll. Oops. I rolled a 3.
Okay, you hit him. Go ahead and roll me Phaser 2 stun at medium range. We're talking 2 dice. So 2 dice
Okay.
damage.
All right, I do 5.
Which is enough to drop him. So basically, he gets sliced and then shot and falls down.
Well, he died in his
Bad
sleep.
day.
We'll get him some stitches. He'll be fine. He'll be.
Yep. He'll be all right.
And
Where's
what you have
Dr.
laying
Keller?
in the corridor here are 2 Romulan centurions
Mm-hmm.
wearing
So-
gold helmets.
Jamie, as a security professional, do I believe that the Romulans would form an away team of only 2 individuals? Don't even need to roll for that. We should probably try and find the rest of them, and we have how many minutes?
That's a good question. Let me
Well,
take
it
a
was
look.
30. We couldn't have gotten much farther along.
Either that, or our focus needs to be on getting to the bridge,
Stopping the ship.
taking control of the helm, and turning this thing the other way, away
We don't
from the
want to
neutral
get too
zone.
hung up here just in the bowels of
Yep.
the ship.
Yep.
Or in the bowels
Maybe I
of the
can redeem-
Romulan either.
Attempted murder.
We don't want to spend our time playing duck hunt. We've got a job to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd love to play duck hunt, but
I mean, and you
You
gotta
have
guess
about
the Romulans
24 minutes
are at the
left.
bridge too. We're headed that way.
one more time, Jamie, how much?
24 minutes.
We need to, Commander, we should
Okay.
probably continue making our way to the bridge.
Okay. Carson aborts shooting, but he says there was another Romulan. We had other fire coming. We're going to leapfrog this. Han, I'm going to cover you for my position here, and you advance to the Romulan's position. Oh, Lieutenant Varkan, he's already up there. Damn it.
There were only these 2 that we know of right now, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So I'm gonna pick my phaser up. I'm gonna cover Solak now. Can sheath my Ushan.
Okay, well, we're covering you. If this guy shows up, we're going to blast. So I'm aborting any fire at the guy who's already on the deck, and just going to cover. So now it's Pond's move.
So we had 2 targets, and we have 2 down.
Correct.
So there are no targets in our
Oh,
vicinity
no
right now,
targets.
Commander.
Correct.
Yep, we took down. Var and I took down the first one in right away.
Yeah, I thought we
then-
still had another one. I thought we still had another one to handle.
Nope,
All right.
we're clear. But
Mr.
I
Solak,
do-
make a tricorder
Stunned
scan
and
of the
one's supposed to
corridor
be dead.
ahead. Make sure we don't have any of the life forms directly ahead of us. Scan for
Actually?
green blood.
If you need a sample, I think I've got some.
Yeah, I think Greg may have frozen.
What? No, I'm right here. I didn't know.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were talking to me.
Yeah, we're wanting you to check for life forms directly in
Okay,
front of us
yeah,
as we
will
make
do.
our way
Okay.
forward.
Mentality
Uh,
minus.
The mentality?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see.
Very good.
Let's see. Roll. Hey, I got under by 7.
All right.
That's a critical.
The downside is
Good.
there is life. There's all sorts of life.
But any in the corridor directly ahead.
And in the corridor, not that you see. No.
I hate it when he says shit like that.
Directly ahead. Okay.
Yeah, effectively, what we want to do is we want to use you to make sure there's nothing in our path and make our way forward to the bridge.
Right.
Yes.
Can anybody patch up the hole in my shoulder?
It's
Okay.
more of a burn.
Dr.
Okay.
Keller will take care of you when we get back aboard,
We get
aboard
back to
the
the
Welly.
ship. All right.
I mean, I can I do anything in terms of applying first aid to this guy?
You can give it a mentality check without appropriate medical stuff. I'm going to give it a +1.
Okay. 11 out of 12. Plus
Okay.
1 is 12 out of 12.
All right.
So you pat me on the back and tell me I'm fine. We move on.
Walk it
Just rub
off.
some dirt. Yeah, just rub some dirt on it, Var. You'll be fine.
You're fine.
You can
I
go
just
ahead
look
and
at you and
walk
go.
off.
I just look at you and go. Do you need a hug? Is that what you need? You need a hug? And then I turn around and start walking off again, following the commander.
Okay, we're moving up the corridor in the direction of the bridge. Have we come to an intersection of any kind?
Actually, you come to a massive door.
Ah. Is it in as bad a shape as the exterior door, or is it something we might be able to operate?
This actually it looks like it's in almost pristine condition. There's a layer of dust, but there's no real. Yeah, the mechanisms all look like they're in place.
Did we leave the Romulans just in the hallway?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, as long as they're not capable of, their corpses rising and attacking us.
Well, we were using stun,
Yeah, we were using
although
stun.
one's got a big
The one was
gash through
mostly
his
dead,
chest.
but he was still breathing.
Oh, man.
So just for fun, Jamie, I'd like to check the door for traps.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and give me
All
a
right.
mentality check? Are you using a tricorder?
I don't think I have a tricorder.
Okay.
I only have 2 hands. One is for punching, one is for phaser.
Fair enough. Go ahead and make me a mentality check. No mods.
10.
How come I don't have a comely yeoman to cuddle on this?
Wow.
10 out of
You're only
12,
the
Jamie.
first officer. That's for the captain.
You rolled a 10?
10 out of 12.
Okay. There are no traps.
Okay.
Is the door locked?
Is the door locked?
He hates me right now.
No, you're fine. I hate you no less than normal, Sean.
Okay. I open the door.
Okay. The door has basically like a series of 2 metal handles. And as soon as you do this, the door pushes in a little bit, slides out, and just a rush of air hits you
Okay.
at once. It's not enough to knock you down, but it is enough for you to recognize that this is an entirely different environment.
Yeah, I would like to motion my XO and my 2 compatriots into the room and close it behind us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wait,
The room.
so I've got a whole. Is my pressure suit intact?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It's like
It's
I
got
said, you got
self-sealant.
burn
Okay.
mark in it. Yeah.
Sure.
Make it-
Or we can use that, warp 1 tape on it.
There
Perfect.
you go.
Perfect.
Well, you know what they say: if you can't duck it, it probably can't be fixed anyway.
Okay, guys, I hate to interrupt anything, but my daughter has just arrived to pick up her dog and to return to New Orleans. I live in Baton Rouge, by the way.
Sure.
Fair enough. I used to live in Thibodeau.
And
Jamie, should we take a quick break for a little while?
Let's take a 5-minute break, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
okay.
Sounds good. 5 minutes.
We'll take a 5 minutes.
No, not a problem. I guess my daughter's staying.
Oh.
My daughter,
Oh.
Jessica, she was around when this game first came out.
Oh, great.
I think she's actually played it at some point. But we're talking about ages ago, okay?
Hey, I totally understand.
You want to say hello to these gamers that have invited me into their game tonight?
Nerds.
My daughter is one of the librarians for the State Library of Louisiana.
Oh.
Oh, very cool.
Hello.
Hello there.
and
Hello.
very tolerant of her old dad. But and I've been watching her little Chihuahua dog today. All right, who gets along okay with Bob and them? Okay, guys. Sorry to interrupt, but I had to make sure that I did the back and forth with my daughter before we continued. All right. Thank you for being patient, Jamie.
Not a problem.
Okay.
You know, I
right
used to live in
now,
Tiverton.
Pon has waved us into the next corridor, into the next opening.
Yep, I want to save the atmosphere.
I have my phaser up, and I look past the doors. What am I seeing?
So
By the
you're in
way,
a sterile room.
I'm using the tactical lights that we have on our shoulders of the suits.
And at this point, the tactical lights are almost pointless.
Okay, so the
There's
corridor's
enough light in
lit.
this room. The room itself is an almost sterile environment. What you see on the walls are what look like egg sacs.
Oh, really?
But they are contained. It's not like I don't want you to get the impression this is like, an H.R. Giger scenario.
Fascinating.
This is like the gun on Chekhov's mantle.
Well, it's
Commander
more like
Solek, check this out.
Go ahead and make me a mentality
Absolutely.
-4, Select.
Okay, sure. So under by 7. Yeah, with a
Under by
with a
7. You are getting let's put it this way. Your tricorder is starting to run out of space from the amount of information that's getting pulled in.
Ah.
There is a complete biosphere of life in this thing.
And then the screen comes up and says, "Update required. Do you want to reboot now?"
Yeah, I could have added the 1,000 terabyte card.
We know the little discs on the front of the tricorder are things you can.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
I've got one of those little Hallmark tricorders that talks to you and whatnot.
Nice.
You have a real tricorder, Jamie?
I have the Diamond Select one upstairs. I'd have to run up and grab it, but yeah.
No, that's okay. What are these things, Commander?
What you're gathering, Solek, is that if the Atraxi are a real species, this is their entire biosphere.
This is a colony ship?
Something like that. Every plant, every animal, every
It's an
microbe.
ark.
Yes,
It's
yes,
an ark.
Commander, it appears to be a generation ship.
Okay. It's about time for us to recontact the Wellington.
Agreed.
Commander Carson, the USS Wellington.
No response this time.
Of course, there's no response.
I touch one of the walls. I wave my phone around trying to get a signal.
I look for a coat hanger.
Is there Wi-Fi? Turn the Wi-Fi on.
Wellington, this is Commander Carson. Come in, please. All right, gentlemen.
Okay.
At this point, a hologrammatic display pops up.
Thanks,
and you
Bob.
see an avian being staring at you.
Hey, Solek, I think this guy wants to talk to you.
Please state the nature of your visit.
So who'll do the talking?
I am
And he
Commander
say-
Carson of the Starship Wellington of the United Federation of Planets. We saw this vessel in a condition that had made it appear to be a derelict. We boarded it to see if we could render any assistance. Are you in need of assistance?
It kind of bows its head for a second. We are still on course to the planet Gallius. We have no need of assistance at this time.
We wish to advise you that you are approaching a local border of the Romulan Star Empire, and you will cross that border in approximately 20 minutes.
We are unfamiliar with Federation and Romulan border.
There it is. This ship set out before there was a Romulan Empire.
And
Understood,
Federation.
gentlemen.
Yeah.
We advise you that the Romulans are not known for their welcome, and it's possible that they may be hostile to your crossing into their territory. Have you ever made contact with the other people who boarded this ship?
Searching for other life forms. 4 life forms found at ship's bridge.
I see.
He's talking about us.
Yeah,
Well, I
No,
think
he's
he
not.
said on the bridge. We're not on the
We're
bridge.
not on the bridge.
we're not on the
That's somebody
bridge.
else.
We're like in a life support hold or something.
So I'm trying to put this through my head. Based on what this holographic entity is telling us, they don't require any assistance. And I don't think we want to interfere in their endeavor, however misguided it might be.
Commander Solek, I would like your advice in this situation.
Hmm.
You feel that this ship is in any danger from the Romulans?
It is difficult to tell, Commander. If they may be able to take command of the ship, then they may be able to try to change its course or try to get access to this civilization. Nevertheless, they have asked us not to interfere.
Well, that pretty much decides it, don't you think, Commander Solek? The Prime Directive prohibits us from
Yes.
interfering with other people against their will, even if they
I
are
believe it
space
does.
traveling.
And
Okay, I'm
Solek,
going to make
just-
one last overture. I'm going to make one last overture. Attention, Romulans aboard the Atraxian vessel. This is Commander Carson of the Starship Wellington. We need to talk with you. This is a serious situation, and we wish to consult with you over the disposition of this vessel.
this is Sub-Commander Var of the Romulan Star Empire.
Sub-Commander Var, greetings. I am the executive officer of the Starship Wellington. We are currently cut off of our communications with our vessel, and we were sent here to investigate this vessel, which appeared to be a derelict. It is approaching the neutral zone.
Yes.
We have been in contact. We've been in contact with a holographic representative of the Atraxians aboard this ship, and they say that they're on course to a destination located within the Star Empire. Do you intend to interfere with the course of this vessel?
We intend to take the vessel. It is heading into our space and therefore our domain.
Subcommander Var, may I remind you that we are currently within the boundaries of the United Federation of Planets, forever how so short a period? And your presence here could be considered a violation of the Neutral Zone Treaty.
Also, you should come and get your 2 friends.
So you should come and get your 2 friends. We are simply taking early ownership of debris that is heading toward the Star Empire.
You gotta pay the price first, man. You can't just
Subcommander
steal a
Var,
car.
this vessel turns out not to be derelict at all, but on course. And
Yes,
not aware
yes.
of our current political situation.
It also appears to be a storehouse of technology that's above either of our pay grades. Technology that that the Empire would just as soon doesn't land in Earther hands.
I don't think we have much further to discuss, Subcommander Var.
Well, that makes 2 of us.
I sign off and I turn to the hologram, which is still sitting there patiently waiting for me.
Uh-huh.
And I go, we are forbidden to interfere with the flight of your vessel and your destiny without your direct request. Your ship is currently headed into space occupied by the Romulan Star Empire. And they have told me that they intend to take possession of this vessel and obtain its technology database. Do you
For their
wish
own
our
nefarious
assistance?
designs.
Do you wish our assistance?
Processing. One of yours is similar to them. Accessing databases.
Oh, this is true.
Epsilon Iridan. We visited their world. They were savages.
I believe he's referring to my race, Commander.
Commander Solek, continue the dialogue with the hologram. Mr. Var, Mr. Pond, come over here, please.
Nice, sir.
Okay, we're going to, I want Solek to try to make a connection with the intelligence operating this ship.
Sure.
And
Let's go to the bridge.
the Romulans have no right to be aboard this ship in this space. They have violated the neutral zone, and we are within our duty to report this to the Federation and to Starfleet. But there are just 4 of us versus 4 of them, and we have already incapacitated 2 of their crew. Those 2 Centurions back in the last compartment. Gentlemen, my inclination, if the ship rejects our offer of assistance, my inclination is for us to retreat to the shuttlecraft and return to the Wellington. But challenge the Romulan vessels that are illegally in Federation space at this time.
Those vessels aren't in Federation space. They're in the neutrals. They're on the other side of the neutral zone.
They had to get here somehow, though.
True.
There's a cloaked
Something
ship out there
across.
somewhere.
I don't know if they're cloaked. I think it's more a case of they came in, they went out.
Well, they picked up this vessel moving straight for them. Okay, we've discussed enough, I think. Let's go ahead and let Solek. You're up now. You're up to talk to the intelligence.
Your species was a savage child species when we met.
That is true. However, We were greatly influenced by your visitation to our world many years ago, and we have made a large change now, embracing logic and using less of the emotion, and devoted
Yet,
ourselves greatly to science and culture.
and yet the others like you, your Commander Carson says, are a threat. Is this correct or incorrect?
It is correct. They would wish to commandeer your ship and use its technology and resources for their own means.
With little regard for the life forms aboard.
So, as you and they are biologically the same, why should we trust you over them?
Tell them, Zola.
Well,
Because I'm awesome.
From the simple standpoint that we have awakened you and we're having the conversation, if we were wanting things to our own ends, we would not bother with trying to reason with you. We would simply take that which we deem necessary or things that we desire. And so as a result, even by this conversation, I believe it is proof of our intentions.
At that point, the entire group of you feels a shift. The ship has halted.
Mm.
Whoa.
It is worth discussing. Members of the species of Epsilon Eridani that are on the bridge. The bridge is currently turned off. State your case.
Will we be allowed to hear what Sub-Commander Var has to say to them? Or not?
Absolutely. Farr simply states that the Federation is led by a species known as humans. They are far more chaotic, far more erratic than anything in the Star Empire. They have lacked the peace of the Empire.
I mean, he's not wrong.
We welcome you to the Empire with open arms. We fear what they would do to you.
And yet our laws would allow you to pass through our space without impediment. And we would stand by that. We would stand by your choice.
If we can find another Class M planet that meets our needs, would you
Commander
be willing
Solek, check the database.
Okay. Hi, Commander.
mentality? -1.
Okay. Mentality +1? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Look at this. We have reduced our Vulcan to a real estate agent. Solek, they don't want a ranch-style house.
Okay.
So instead of a
Make
gold
sure it has
shirt,
an
he's
updated
gonna have a gold
kitchen.
blazer.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. +5.
All right. So you do find a planet not too far.
It's
gonna have
called
everyone-
SETI City.
SETI Alpha 5.
Yep, SETI
No,
Alpha 5.
no.
Steady Alpha 5!
No, just kidding. Just kidding. No, not really.
Anywhere but Steady Alpha 5.
Botany Bay.
Yeah, it's another
Take
planet.
the Royson cutoff.
Jamie, have you actually gone to the trouble of locating where we are in space?
Not particularly.
Okay, don't worry about it. Not important. I was just curious. I'd go grab my books and say, "Oh, look at that! They're right next to, you know."
Yeah, technically the map's in the hallway, but
Yeah, I've been known to do that, but no.
hey, all good, man. There is a nearby planet that will work. It'll take
Okay.
them a couple more days to get there easily, but
Okay.
no problem. But I do need everyone to make me a dexterity check.
Okay. Made it by 4.
Made it by 6.
Made it by 2.
Jeez.
Solak,
Yes.
dex check.
Oh, made it by 4. Yes.
Okay, so everybody made it.
Yep.
The ever popular "Huh! Huh!" as the ship is grabbed by a tractor beam.
Mm.
Oh no.
The ship begins to rattle.
You realize that if a Romulan has fired a tractor beam at it, then they're de-shrouded or decloaked, depending on what era we're in here.
That's an act of war.
Indeed.
If it's the Wellington, one of us needs to run to the airlock and call them.
Yeah, I think from the change in the atmospheres, I think we need to get out of this bio.
Vault.
Yeah,
Vault.
Biosphere. Yep.
Yeah, the vault is protected.
Right.
I'll run back through
tomorrow.
the door, and try and hail the welly.
Okay.
Okay.
As you run through the door, Sean, you are getting, like, Wellington here. We've kind of got our hands full at the moment. What do you need?
What is the situation?
I
Sorry.
go ahead. I was just going to say, yeah, we were just calling to let you know, but it sounds like you already know.
Yeah, 3 Romulan warbirds.
I'll inform the commander, and I'll pass that on since I don't know if we're, receiving.
Okay, if these are the bird of prey type warbirds,
Yep.
then I think the Wellington can handle them as long as they don't get caught by a plasma blast.
Right.
But on the other hand, the Romulans are showing their hand.
Agreed.
Can we ask the holographic life form if they can render assistance?
Actually, the AI was actually trying to speak. It said something along the lines of hull integrity down 10%. Applying countermeasures.
Countermeasures are awesome.
You actually feel debris hitting the ship at that point.
Mm.
That means that the inertial dampeners are being overcompensated at the moment. I don't know how that works, by the way, and I thought I knew all the technical stuff in Star Trek. But for some reason, there's always a point where the inertial dampeners are slow to react. So you get thrown. All right, everybody, throw to the right.
Oh, I went left because I'm a moron.
Right, sorry.
Me too.
It's just like the none of the control panels had fuses, so they blow up.
Everything overloads. And they're somehow all back with C4.
Maybe it's just not possible to do breakers and fuses with plasma relays.
Maybe so.
Who knows?
Very true.
Because it's not electricity per se, it's a column of superheated whatever.
By lithium.
Ooh, don't say that. Magic. Too much magic. Okay.
So,
all right, guys, we need to get in, we need to we're not on board the Wellington. We got to trust the Wellington, the other people, that they know how to fight the ship.
Yeah.
yes.
So basically, all we can tell them is what the stakes are. All right, I go to the door. I contact the Wellington.
Actually, as you get to
Captain
the door,
Kellogg, this is Commander Carson.
Commander Carson, as you get to the door, it's sealed shut.
I'm sorry?
Am I inside or outside?
You are inside at this point.
Okay.
The AI then states, applying countermeasures. Please stand by.
Okay.
Do your
So
thing,
we're here.
Holly.
Within a few minutes, all life forms outside of the atrium are stunned.
Oh.
The doors then pop open.
Fancy.
As you walk out, your suits do detect trace amounts of a sedative gas.
Guessed.
Good thing we're wearing environmental suits.
I say we give them all tonsillectomies.
With pleasure. Sharpen my blade.
He's sitting there with that big knife.
Okay. Has this affected the
taking it home with
Romulan
as a
birds
souvenir.
of prey?
Birds of prey seem to have run.
All right.
When you get out, the captain is there. Kellogg to away team. How's things going?
We have discovered that this vessel is a colony ship from the ancient race that once visited Vulcan in the distant past before their revolution,
I see.
and before the time when the Romulans split off from them, if we know about that now. I'm not quite sure where we are in time, Jamie.
To give you an idea, actually, this episode would take place the exact same time as Way to Eden. So the Enterprise is heading out.
Oh, so we know everything then. Okay.
Yeah.
This vessel has declared that they asked for the location of a habitable M-class planet that they could use to plant their colony of survivors from their civilization. We gave them the location of X, Y, and Z at these coordinates. And if you concur, Captain, we will take into custody the Romulans on board this vessel and bring them over to the Wellington on board the shuttlecraft. And we will allow this ship to continue as per the Prime Directive.
Agreed. Offer the ship the option that we will be willing to escort them to a planet.
Okay, we will do that.
And,
Yeah. I speak to the holographic representative, the AI representative. So according to the tenets of the Prime Directive, we will not interfere with the development of your civilization. We offer the location of this M-class planet in Federation space for your complete use without any supervision whatsoever unless you require it. We will be more than happy to escort you there and leave you to the business of building your civilization. What say you?
we agree with your terms.
Very well.
We will head to the planet as expected. We will head to the planet as coordinates show. You may contact us in 100 years post that date.
I will so inform my fellow Federation people. Meantime,
Yeah,
we will collect the Romulans on board this ship and remove them from your vessel.
Yeah, we'll take out the trash.
Yeah.
Understood.
And in 100 years,
Gentlemen.
I'll still be here, so I could probably talk to them.
Gentlemen, let's take out the trash and leave this ship as expeditiously as possible.
Aye, sir.
Live long and prosper.
Aww.
Indeed. Peace and long life.
Peace,
Okay,
love,
gentlemen.
love, peace, and chicken grease.
Love it. All right. Damn it, Jamie, that went really well.
Thank you. Thank you.
You make me think I actually wrote something worth playing.
Good. Yep.
Well, we've done this twice. I mean, it obviously was worth playing at least more than once.
The original version of this game was an offshoot of the games Space Patrol and Star Patrol that were published by Game Science. And Lou Zocchi of Game Science recommended me to Heritage Models when they developed a line of miniatures to produce. They produced 2 lines of miniatures back then, one for John Carter, Warlord of Mars, and the other one for Star Trek, based on the animated series. So you could get miniatures of Phylosians and Kazinti and all of that. They weren't very good miniatures, but they were adequate if you were a good painter. That's true of many miniatures these days.
True.
But back then, the intent was that Heritage would market this game and the John Carter game on a rotating wire rack in places like regular bookstores. And they were not totally successful in doing so. And eventually, they lost the licenses, and design of the game reverted to me. The actual content. Obviously, I couldn't produce a Star Trek game on my own, even though I did anyway. That would be Starfleet Voyages, which is basically the same game but expanded with starships and everything else. But you would have enjoyed playing the John Carter game. Everybody played either a villain and a hero at the same time, and you would go around and you would be trying to impress your chosen princess, or you'd be trying to capture the other guy's princess as being their bad guy. Be racing back and forth across Mars. It was really a fun game, but the new one from Modiphius is a lot better, just like the new Star Trek game from Modiphius is well done as well.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Modiphius game as well. But part of my whole thing with doing these was one of my goals. In fact, I'm two games away from it. Was I wanted to review every official Star Trek RPG ever made.
That's great, and I've got to admit that I've had to mess with every one of them. Decipher, FASA, all of them. I've sought them out. I've even sought out the ones that were not labeled as Star Trek, but were Star Trek.
Like Prime Directive and Far Trek.
Yeah. Or even Twerps. Twerps had a Star Trek version.
Twerps Quack, yeah.
The world's easiest role-playing system. Only uses one
stat.
Yeah. One stat, one die. But guys, you did really well, all of you.
Thanks.
You're a fine crew. I would be always happy to go out on board the Wellington and have more adventures with you in the future.
I agree.
Awesome.
This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. It's awesome work.
Really enjoyed it.
Well, you backed up this guy who's hiding behind a crate, making sure he doesn't get shot by the Romulan. Tactically, you find cover. Because phaser beams and disruptor beams don't care.
Exactly.
As a Tellarite wearing a red shirt, I just can't.
I mean, it says Maverick right there in my job description. Figured I'd go for it.
Our Vulcan was outstanding.
Very
much.
Greg does a really good job with that character.
Yes.
Oh, thanks. I wasn't sure how well it would do. Is like when you say talk to the holograms, like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to say. Wing it as I go.
Well, I love the background that you're playing in. It looks like you're in a Vulcan's cabin.
Oh, there you go.
with the tiles behind you and so on.
There we go. Got the tiles. I got a little artwork. I got a cartoon. Well, can't tell from there. I got an Enterprise back there in the corner. Yeah.
Well,
you get
guys,
some psychedelic lighting in there, it'd be fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all you need now is the that weird Vulcan meditation
harp
game and.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, those auto harp kind of things there.
Yep. And a 3D chest.
Yep.
Little 3D chest set.
A little cutout of
3D chest.
Spock. So the first time with this game, I can remember which one the Vulcan was. So.
Excellent.
Yeah, just in case somebody didn't know.
Well, you know,
Basically, then,
Spock is
quite a
kind of
bit.
like the Lieutenant Worf of his era. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, right.
he overdoes being a Vulcan, just like Worf overdoes being a Klingon.
Oh yeah.
Other Klingons look at Worf and go, "Why is he so uptight?" But you know, and most Vulcans acknowledge, "Oh yeah, we have emotions," but we don't talk about it because that's like uncool. Right now, I just turned 70 years old, guys. Lou Zaki's even older than me, and we've been doing Star Trek stuff forever.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
After I left the Air Force, I came down to work with Zaki in Mississippi, and we worked on the original Starfleet Battle Manual, which is the game that has the red compass cards.
Oh, nice.
So that you have string attached in the middle, and you can, you know, indicate what angle you're shooting your phasers at, and so on. The company that put out Starfleet Battles is the one that do Prime Directive as well,
Right.
and that's the Starfleet Battles universe. And both Lou Zaki and Steve,
Cole.
thank you, Steve Cole, both got our licenses from Franz Joseph, based on the Star Trek Technical Manual. Unfortunately, we both kind of told Franz kind of a white lie. Franz was, whether you know it or not, was a very dedicated pacifist, despite having been a naval architect, which is where he got the skills to learn how to make those blueprints and so on.
Oh, neat.
And his daughter was the head of STAR San Diego, Star Trek Association for Revival, back before there was another Star Trek. And that's why he got involved with doing those blueprints. But Franz, we told Franz, both us and Steve Cole, told Franz, this is a cadet training manual. We're not actually going to war. But when I did do the game for Heritage, I treated it as a landing party style adventure, which is, I hope, is what comes across in the book.
Yeah.
And I tried to include all the details up through the animated show.
And I don't know if you've actually seen my review on your game.
I did.
Appreciate it. Yeah, the one thing I did say there, and I'll say it again, is, you know, everything I could say about this game that, you know, could be considered a complaint is, look at the age. You know, this is when it came out, and part of that is, yeah, the ships and stuff. And
At least you and I have the good-looking book and not the Purple Planet one.
What I'm going to say about that is that despite its age and its brevity, it is well worth the engagement, meaning that you're still going to have fun playing as we did here today. It was still a lot of fun, despite its age, despite its brevity, you know, and despite its I don't know what the word I would use. It's not Foster or Modifius, right?
Yeah.
Despite its not being overly well known, right? And this was before the movies, so.
you know,
And I had a lot of fun.
Every once in a while, someone will come along and say that I saw, Scotty, I saw your game and it was like $65 on eBay. And I'm going, really? I'm not getting any of that. But I also, it's gratifying to see that it hasn't been forgotten. It's gratifying that it's still playable with the proper game master.
Thank you. High praise indeed.
Right now, I'm working on a brand new project. I haven't stopped designing. And my friends all think I've been consumed by it. But we're having fun. And
haters gonna hate.
Yep.
Well,
Important thing is after.
here's the prototype cover.
Oh,
Oh, cool.
Adventures in United States Space Force.
Space Force. There we go.
Semper Supra. Always above.
Oh,
This is supposed to be Space Force a decade from now, when we actually have Space Force astronauts. And we're having fun writing it. I am working like crazy to get in contact with people at SpaceX and with Space Force to get them to not fuss at me when I try to, put this out there. Our publisher is Flying Mice Games out of Boston. Robert Clash Bowling and his son company, and who I also wrote a game called Wild Blue for them, and it's a heck of a lot more complicated than Guardians. This is where you play modern air mercenaries, like the anime Area 88.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
And
well, Michael, if you would like sometime, I think we'd all be more than willing to let you take over the GM screen and run a session with us if you'd like as a live stream.
Well, I would like to extend the playtest of Guardians a little bit beyond Louisiana. I've got local players that are going to be doing the playtest, and I've had so much kibitzing so far that I've barely got an alpha draft. That's what's in that binder. But yeah, if you're willing, I'd be happy to lay it on you and let you take a look at it.
Absolutely.
And if you think you would enjoy being what basically amounts to a Starfleet troubleshooting team, except back when all we have are orbital ships that stay pretty much to the Earth and Moon. We even did. Hang on, I want to show you this. This is cool. Do any of you recognize this type of ship?
It looks a lot like Thunderbird 2 to me, but
well, this is a model of the X-37,
okay.
which is the only spaceship that Space Force actually has, even if it's not manned today. A larger version of it will be manned possibly in the future. It's made by Boeing, and the Air Force and the Space Force have launched these things to fly in orbit for over 700 days at a time, doing sneaky spy stuff in orbit. And so one of our players...
Hold on a second. I think the FBI is knocking at my door.
Well, I know
it's
that
not
we're
the
currently...
FBI, it's the NSA.
NSA. Homes.
No, those are the guys I hear on my phone.
Homeland Security.
There you go.
We've got members of our group who've used to work at Edwards and who used to be in the Air Force, and like me, and we've tried to make it very true to the modern military. One of the reasons why I think that Space Force is going to let us have what we want is because we're never going to do anything which makes them look bad. It's all going to be very much in the spirit of Semper Supra, and the spirit of the modern military. So, except in space.
There you go.
But anyway, that's my current project. We're having a lot of fun with it.
Very cool.
Very cool.
So,
Very fun.
but guys, keep on trekking. I mean, I don't know what have all you been playing recently? What have all you been involved in recently?
I'll let Sean answer that one.
Okay.
So I run a Traveler game on the opposite Thursdays.
Ah.
It's the current Mongoose second edition version of it.
Okay.
Having a lot of fun with it. Prior to that, I cut my teeth on Dungeons and Dragons, like so many of the rest of us, right? And it was Jamie really that kind of put me in a different direction and said, "Hey, that's not that. There's more games than that. Just that out there." And he ran a Traveler game for us maybe a year ago, I think, or maybe more than that. I don't know. And at first, I was kind of like, "Yeah, okay, not really into this." And then he was running RuneQuest Third Edition, and we decided that, well, if he's going to do the fantasy role playing, I needed to find something science fiction.
There you
So I
go.
looked at all of the science fiction stuff that I had, and I had Coriolis from Free League. I had Infinity from Modiphius. I had Starfinder from Paizo, and I had Traveler. And I looking at Coriolis, I was like, that's okay, but I know Jamie doesn't like the Arabian Nights in space motif, so put that over here. Infinity was the Modiphius engine, and we had done so much Modiphius. We had done Conan, we had done Dune, we had done the Star Trek, we had done. I'm sure there were others that I'm
The
blanking on.
2D20 engine is eminently adaptable.
Well, and what I really like that engine because just the rolling of the dice to me I found very engaging. There were stakes, and it was it was engaging. That and the bonus pool, where if you rolled additional successes, you had that collective aspect to it. I thought was cool. And then I went to Traveler, and I looked at it again, and I was like, well, it meets one of the requirements that I have. It's very simple. And as I got deeper into it, it was like, this is the one, with all of the available material for it, all of the support with Traveler Map and the Traveler Wiki and everything else. That's where I went. And in terms of content, there's no end to it. I mean, you can pick up just about any science fiction book for inspiration, and Traveler's and it'll fit in that Traveler system in some way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's what I've been doing.
Well, I've also picked up Free League's Alien books and Twilight 2000, their 4th edition version of Twilight 2000.
I just got that myself.
I think Jamie was talking about running that at some point.
I really look forward to trying it someday. I make characters in everything that I do, just to see if the system works for me. I like Traveler 2300.
I've got that book. I actually got that book thinking it was Traveler, but not so much in the far future. But it's way different. It's a totally different game.
So you say you've actually played Dune and Conan?
Yep.
I ran.
Well,
Dune,
I understand that the John Carter game, which I went ahead and got hold. I helped back the John Carter game, so I got all the stuff when it came out. A game that I did back that I hated when I got it was the one based on what was a science fiction story where the people trade bodies. They get
the Altered Carbon.
Thank you. Don't get too old, guys. Memory's the first thing to go.
I can't help it.
Altered Carbon, the game system turned out to be incredibly hard to use. To me. If I have trouble using it, good grief. And I backed the rebirth of BattleTech.
Nothing wrong with BattleTech.
No, Rock'em Sock'em Robots never hurt anybody.
Nope.
And as for the channel, what happened here is we started with RuneQuest. I was running RuneQuest with these guys. Then, we decided we would try a live. Someone had suggested for my fledgling Nerd Rage Against the Machine channel, hey, why don't you do a live stream? You do a lot of role-playing reviews. Why not? So we ran the first Star Trek game, and it ran so well that I'm going to be doing this going forward. Every other week, we're doing a live stream instead of my normal gaming session. This month, February, March are going to be one-shots. So the next thing I think is going to be Tales from the Loop, which is Free League.
Yes. We actually played a game of Tales from the Loop.
Great little game.
It was a lot of
Very
fun
nostalgic.
hunting dinosaurs around Hoover Dam.
Well, and when we ran our session of it, the thing that got me was the entire group ground to a halt, not because of rules, not because of arguments, but because of every single person going on an 80s rabbit hole. Like, can I make a reference to the Terminator?
Yep. Or we had to go search Google to find out what year did Back to the Future come out. Mm-hmm. Is that movie out now when this is occurring? That kind of thing.
Oh, boy.
It's very nostalgic and very, for lack of a better word, I find it heartwarming.
Well, the thing about Tales from the Loop is that you're playing children, basically.
Yeah.
And that didn't work too well for Cyberpunk way back when they did Cyber Generations.
Oh, yeah.
And playing people who are playing a game doesn't work too well if you ever played Dream Park.
Oh, yeah.
I've still got my complete set of Dream Park, Jamie. I think I may be one of the only ones.
I think I still have the player's guide. That's about it.
But anyway, playing children seems to be either really cool for some people or really difficult.
I think, and I don't want to speak for Jamie, but I suspect that he relates in the same way that I do, that playing children is one thing, but playing children in the 80s, which is when we were children. I was in 1982, I was 11 years old, which is the lower end of that age range that Tales from the Loop characters take place. So it's like reliving my tween years, and it's heartwarming.
In fact, one of the gags in my campaign, or the campaign I was running of it, was that there was a comic shop, and there was a Dungeons and Dragons game going, and the GM had just informed, the Dungeon Master, who was also the comic store owner, had just informed them that they had reached Expert Edition, that they were going to be going through the Isle of Dread next session.
They also had a box set of Gamma World, which my brother bought for me.
Well, we originally, when I was in the Air Force back in '72, we were in Northern California at Beale Air Force Base. That's where the SR-71s flew out of, as well as B-52s. And our squadron safety officer was a gamer. And he would drag a bunch of airmen to his place off base, and we would game all weekend, much to the chagrin of the colonel, who tried to explain fraternization with him.
Oh, jeez.
We were all airmen, right? Going off with the lieutenant to play games and go to SCA tourneys and things like that. But we played pre-D&D. We had people coming up to us and demoing chainmail.
Oh, wow.
And so we bought Sherwood Forest Airfix miniatures and painted them up and everything and modified them. And we had those, we were using a gas station map of California for our medieval lands. And this guy, I think it was somebody named Arneson, showed up at one of our games, one of our big game sessions, and he had an entire map of this castle on a hill that you could take apart and go into the dungeons.
Wow.
And we played chainmail with that and did jousting and all that. It was fun. Later on, I got out of the Air Force, and D&D had come out in its white box version. And I promptly started to figure out how phasers would work in D&D. And that didn't get a lot of traction.
Yeah, you can't do it with a D20.
So I ended up writing my own rules.
There you go.
But they didn't want me didn't want me to give a ranger a phaser gun. Don't know why. But D&D was fun back then. The original white box game didn't really have a lot of rules that worked, Jamie. I don't know if you've ever read it.
I actually have. I've actually had a copy in hand. I was stupid and got rid of it, but
Oh, that's terrible. Because no matter whether you'd ever play it again, it would be worth something. At least
Yeah.
to show off on your shelf.
Mm-hmm.
well, it was something I found at I was already a gamer. I was in high school, and I found it like at an antique store. It was like, sure, I'll pick it up. What?
Yeah.
And I got it and Greyhawk. That's all I had was like the 4 books. There was no box.
Well, the whole box set of 3 books was and the crumbly soapy dice with a crayon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
$10 back then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it came with the maps.
Yes, yes. We had a guy though who was running the D&D games in Salt Lake City, and his way of playing was to do it. He was an artist, so he did really elaborate castles and grounds, and then he got a huge sheet of black poster board taped together with a hole cut out in the middle that was the area that could be seen illuminated by a torch. So he would put that over the entire map, and he'd reveal the map by moving the board around
Oh, cool.
so that you only reviewed what you could see by torchlight.
I remember seeing the first time I saw the map of Greyhawk, I was probably about 11 or 12 years old, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And just the map itself. And I've always had a love of maps. Like for my birthday, my mom and dad would get me the World Almanac just so I could sit there and look at the maps in it. But I saw that map, and that it was just the map that was all I needed for the stories to come in.
Yep.
You know, just looking at the map and saying, this could happen here, and these two, you know, the Kingdom of Ayus and Greyhawk, and they're fighting, and all of that, you know, the whole history and lore. I didn't need to read that. I could just look at the map and make up my own. That's the thing that I really remember about.
Man after my own heart, dude.
That's what I remember most about Greyhawk.
You know, for me, it all started. We were moving. My father was in oil, so like we moved all over.
Oh yeah.
And the '80s, I was big into collecting GI Joe. I kind of still am, but we were moving to Scotland, to Aberdeen, Scotland. In fact, we were living at one point in Thibodeau, so I've been to Baton Rouge a few times. But
it's
as
changed.
we were moving, oh, I'm sure. As we were moving from Iowa to Scotland, we started seeing all these things about the 700 Club and Pat Robertson, you know, the whole satanic panic. And my brother and I were both like, this sounds interesting. I'm at least curious, you know, how could a game be this evil? And when we got to Scotland, the school I went to was an American school. It was a private school that was for American kids. So, like, I didn't wear a uniform. I wore jeans and T-shirts like every other American kid. And so many Army brats, so many oil brats, that game was everywhere.
Yeah.
So, like, I got indoctrinated whether I wanted to or not into it. And between that and my love of now Action Force, which is the British answer to G.I. Joe, that's really the two things that came out of my living in Scotland was I started playing D&D, got into Star Frontiers, got into Gamma World, learned about all those systems, and then, you know, my parents got divorced and we moved back to Iowa. At which point it became from, you know, like, everyone does D&D too. Isn't that satanic?
Oh,
jeez.
Well, I did help do some games that had varied amounts of success. I helped design the 1632 game based on Eric Flint's novels about a coal town in West Virginia that gets sent back in time to 30 years war Germany.
Oh, wow.
wow.
And that was a lot of fun. My job was basically to write the combat rules and whatnot, and a scenario for it. I also worked on a game based on Luftwaffe 46, the comic book from Antarctic Press.
Okay.
That was kind of fun. And For a long time, I was one of the designers of the Honor Harrington role-playing game.
Vector Tactical.
Not the tactical game, not the one with the spaceships on the three-dimensional movement, but the RPG.
Oh, okay.
Well, you don't see the RPG anywhere.
That's true.
But the only part of the RPG that ever got released, I wrote. And it's about a Star Kingdom ship which intercepts a freighter for customs inspection and discovers that yes, indeed, they are smuggling. And David Weber gave us all kinds of rules about what we couldn't talk about, where we couldn't go, because he was still writing books. He didn't want us interfering with the storylines that he was laying down. So we were stuck pretty much off in chasing pirates land. Then the game lost the rights to using the D6 game engine, and they went to using a 5th edition D20. And I lost total interest in working on the game.
Fair enough.
All the work I had done was worthless now because it was an entirely different game system. I don't have anything against D20. I've got plenty of D20 games. But I hated it when all of a sudden all the work I'd done was a waste. And to be fair, the company hasn't made any advancements ever since COVID, so. But if you go to Drive-Thru-RPG, you can find a customs inspection available for like what, $6 to $10. If you go to Drive-Thru-RPG, you can find a customs inspection available for like what, $6 to $10. It's from Final Sword Press, Final Sword Publications.
I will definitely take a look for that. And while we're plugging games, I did design one myself as well.
Yeah?
It's a Sentai RPG called Super Happy Sentai Hour.
Say that again?
Super Happy Sentai Hour. It's based upon Japanese superheroes. Think
Really?
Power Rangers, Dynaman, Bioman. It's available on Drive-Thru as well.
Huh. Well, I used to have a heck of a time playing Bubblegum Crisis.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. That was Hardtail as well.
And a local guy down here has designed an RPG based on Strike Witches. Not familiar. Who's familiar with Strike Witches?
Not familiar.
Sorry.
Okay, you see pictures of cute girls with what looks like fighter planes stuck on their legs. That's Strike Witches.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Alternate world where World War II didn't happen. Instead, aliens attacked, and all the magical girls of the world got together and fought the aliens because only they could manage to do any damage to them. But that was fun. You find it?
Just about. 1 second.
Yeah, I was gonna try and find it and throw a link in the chat in case anybody wanted to go check it out.
Not a bad idea.
Well, look, guys, I'll be happy to send you a digital if you want.
I mean,
Cool.
I'm not going to say no, but just in case anyone else is interested here, let's see.
But if you
Jamie,
send the money, I might get a royalty check.
That, I think I still have some credit on Drive-Thru's website. That was one of the other reasons I was figuring I'd take a look.
Jamie, I'm going to go ahead and drop. Mr. Scott, it was fantastic meeting and having an opportunity to play with you. This has been a real pleasure and a privilege.
Guys, I really enjoyed it. I'm sorry I missed the first one.
Hey,
Jamie, outstanding job.
Thank
Agreed.
you very much. And as I said before, Michael, the door's always open.
All right.
And if you would like the opportunity to like I said, run one of those other games that you know, like the Space Force thing, if you want to run that as a live stream sometime, I'd be happy to host.
Okay, well, it needs a little bit more maturing, but I will definitely consider you guys to be part of the outer team.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah.
Thanks,
You
guys.
guys could
Very
be
nice.
Alpha Team 2.
Well,
Well, sounds awesome.
I keep getting. I've never been in the military whatsoever, but I keep getting the veterans, whatever administration thing keeps trying to get me to join, like the American Legion or like the veterans, whatever. And one of these days, I'm just gonna say, okay, yeah, I was in Space Force. There we go. I'm a veteran.
Well, you know how the different systems chide each other with
Yeah.
fun humor.
Oh, right,
You know,
right.
like
Yeah.
Marines eat crayons and so on.
Yeah.
The Space Force, being the latest military force of the U.S., is the one that wears tinfoil hats
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
puts ranch dressing on in
Yeah.
their coffee. And in other words,
I
we're
believe-
the weirdos.
Yeah.
Space Force.
I've
is
seen
the
some of
weirdos.
those. I've seen like a lot of people make fun of the Air Force saying that they have it easy, and then other people make fun of the Marines because they're technically part of the Navy, and like, oh yeah, you can't even get your own branch. You know?
Well, the Air Force used to be part of the Army,
That's true. Yeah, Army Air Corps. Yep, it was.
and it became a totally separate service.
Yep. Right.
Space Force bears the same resemblance to the Air Force as the
Yeah.
Marines do to the Navy.
Right.
And
True.
if you go to Vandenberg Space Force Base,
Mm-hmm. Right.
you will find that most of the personnel there are Air Force. They're security police, they're medical
Right.
people, all of that. All
Yep.
their facilities people are Air Force. You
Makes
can only
sense.
tell the Space Force guys because they wear blue
Yeah.
stuff on their fatigues
Yeah.
and those weird little Delta badges that look like Star
Oh
Trek.
yeah. But it's always funny because people just I don't know. I guess I just look like a military. I've had like where people will go to some place like, oh yeah, you're a veteran. Let me get your discount. Like no. I've never been in anything, so don't do that.
Well, I think you'll find the game system interesting.
Oh yeah. I'm sure.
And the extrapolation is that the players are playing characters who are part of a spec ops team, which are
Okay.
troubleshooters. They're not Green Berets or SEALs, but what they're more like the Green Beret who go into places and fix villages up and whatnot. In our very first playtest, we went to Alaska to check out a satellite that had come down in the Alaskan wilderness. Turned out to be a Chinese Shenzhou. And they were shooting people who were coming close
Ouch.
because
Yeah.
they had something to hide.
Fair enough.
So it was a good game, except that it wasn't quite ready for prime time yet, and,
Right.
and we're still developing. Yeah, right now the players are playing that they're at a beach party at Vandenberg, out on the beach, enjoying themselves, while Chinese spies try to sneak into Vandenberg and steal stuff. But at any rate, like I said, this has been really great tonight, and don't hesitate to give me a buzz anytime you want, Jamie, or anybody else.
Yep.
And we will stay in touch.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
I'm gonna sign off also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks again
Yeah.
for everyone showing up, and live long and prosper, guys.
I'm always getting backward in this thing. Long and prosper as well.
Take care, guys.
Take care,
Peace
guys.
and long life.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I always had a